All right, my name's Michael. Going to do a quick walkthrough with you on your new Wander. We're going to start with the outside, come back, we'll go through the inside. So we're going to start with the awning, which actually has a switch right over here. So just push and hold it till the awning's fully extended. Then we'll set the rafters up. There is an awning light on this outer edge of the awning. The switch to turn those lights on is actually on the touchscreen itself. Once the awning's fully extended, we do want to get the rafters set up. So to do that, we're going to open this up, shorten it, close it, come over to this end, lift it up. It's a long reach. Once it's fully out, it'll turn in all directions. Angle it towards the coach. Release the lock. Come over to the placement, the catch on the side. Lift the pin and just drop the bottom in and then the pin over the top. At that point in time, you can adjust your height. So there is a rafter assembly on both the front and the back. Please be sure it clears the entrance door when it is extended. Some of the biggest mistakes I see with this particular awning is how it's put away. The correct way to do that is it's the rafters that cause the problem. Release it, shorten it, close that. If you come over here, there's a couple wings on this that turn, and you'll just sort of want to line those up with the slots. This piece here needs to fold underneath, towards the bottom, towards the ground, and then fully extend it to lock that in place. Once everything's put away, we can hit the retract button to bring it back in. Moving to the entrance door, you'll see when I open this door, the step comes out. We can actually override that so the step will stay out. There's no need having it go in and out when we're parked. So the switch is actually lower left-hand corner of this touch panel right here. If you happen to leave that step out and go to drive away, provided this door is closed, the step will retract when you start the ignition, so you cannot drive away with it out. Intake and exhaust for the fridge, nothing there of terrible concern. Generator is in this compartment. It's a 4,000 watt generator, gasoline powered. Will run whatever you need it to run. It draws from the main fuel tank of the motorhome. Just as a safety device so you don't run yourself out of fuel, it will shut off when your fuel gauge reads below a quarter tank. There is a start switch outside, but I'll show you where the start switch is inside. Check the oil. If the oil level is low, it won't start anyway, but you can check it here. I do recommend once a year to have the oil changed, or every 250 hours, whichever comes first. Another common mistake made with generators is lack of use. Use the generator at least 2 hours a month. It just keeps everything running properly. It doesn't allow the parts to corrode in the engine. We'll move to the back. This is just your storage compartment at the back. Second bedroom if you so wish. Push the yellow lever, hold it down. Out comes the tray. There is hanging devices for hanging clothes or hoses, cords, access to the interior closet through there on both sides. Your table folds up and fits there. Uh-oh. Ah. That's not good. Fully extend it, then close it. There is a hitch on the back. It's for a small rack. It's really not designed to carry a whole lot of weight or tow anything. Basically for 1 or 2 bicycles, that's it. Your 30 amp shore cord will connect here. If you take a look, there's 3 prongs. One of them has a little 90-degree tip on it. Just make sure that you line them correctly with the receptacle or the plug. Give it 1/8 of a turn clockwise, and then you can lock the outside on with the ring if you want. This is just a storage compartment. Next we have our utility compartment here. So starting on the right, propane fill. Go to a station that sells it. They are certified to fill. There is a Sani flush if you want to flush your black tank. Cable TV satellite input. This switch here turns your propane system off and on. There is a switch here for the water pump and your city water connection here. With this city water connection, there's a 90-degree fitting that'll thread in there, which then allows you to run a hose up through the bottom and close the door if you're hooked up to city water on a campsite. Have an outside shower with hot and cold water. Your spray port is there. To fill your onboard water tank, connect to the city water. Above this outside shower, there's a faucet, a valve. If you turn it counterclockwise, a 1/4 turn, it directs the water flow from here to the tank as opposed to the faucets inside. Once that's full, it'll start to spit water out underneath the coach through the overfill. And this is for winterizing here, a siphon hose. This is your macerator for dumping both your holding tanks, both your black and your gray. Black is for your toilet tank, gray is for your showers and sinks. Take the cap off. In your dump station's port, if you go on this side, we have a gray, on this side a black handle. Black, pull the black first if you're dumping it. Turn the macerator on and let it run until that tank is empty. You'll know it's empty when the pitch of the pump changes and the hose starts to do a little dance. If you're dumping the black, I always recommend you dump it first. That being said, I don't want you to dump that unless it's 80 or 90% full. The tank actually stays cleaner if you use it till it's fuller. I always dump the gray second just to flush the hose out. Intake and exhaust for your furnace. Please don't open the water heater door if the furnace is running, as you see why. So this is your Truma on-demand water heater. I'm just going to give a quick touch up on the outside and then we'll finish talking about it inside, because once you've set it up for the winter, that's where you're going to control it. So this is the strainer slash plug. It slides in here. You then close it. You can then flush your system, and there's valves underneath the galley sink to take it out of bypass for winter use. When you take it out of winter use, turn this power switch either way, up or down, it doesn't matter, they both do the same thing. That can stay on until you winterize it for the next season. I'm going to put this back here, just so you know where it's at in the spring. And we'll talk about the water heater more once we're inside. For adding fuel, unleaded, open the driver's door, then you can open the gas door. It is a capless system, so there's no fuel cap to remove. Your gas nozzle will just go directly through it. At this point in time, we can move inside. Come on in, Jason. We'll start the inside with the touchpad here, just to the left of the inside door, right of the inside door. So there's 5 different screens on this. We have our home page, which we're on now, our lighting page, power page, thermostat, and settings. So let's start with home. The top left, we have a master switch for our lighting. It basically turns off all the lights. When I hit that master switch to turn it back on, it will turn off any lights that were on when we hit the master off the next time. To the right of that, we have our monitor panel. 73% full. Your propane's going to fluctuate between 73 and 100 depending on the ambient temperature outside. Black tank says 10% full. The infrared sensors in these are very level sensitive. We're sitting with a slight angle towards the front right now, so it is getting a reading. Gray and empty. Everything reads in percentage. And your water pump switch is there. Lower left-hand corner is our heating and air conditioning. So right now, it's telling me it's 19.6 degrees inside. The thermostat is set for 22 degrees, but we have no devices running, no furnaces or air conditioner. So to control that, we'll go to the heating page. Cool, put it on cool, you'll get air conditioning. You do require 30 amp power for both cool and the heat pump. We're not connected to power now, it's not going to do anything. It's set at 22 degrees, so it'll maintain that setting provided it goes above there. Heat pump reverses the function of the air conditioner, turns it into a heat pump. It will pump heat inside. Once again, 30 amp power required. Furnace will run off of the batteries. It's 19.8 inside, set at 22, the furnace just kicked in. Auto will run either the air conditioner or the heat pump to maintain your set temperature. So if you're plugged into 30 amp power, it'll heat or cool depending what's required. Lower level is just different settings for the fan. I recommend leaving it on auto and then it just cycles as required. We go back to the home page. In the lower right hand corner we have our house power for both the house batteries and the chassis batteries, and our generator start controls. So to start the generator, just push the start and it'll go. Sometimes it takes it a few minutes to start or a few seconds. It's got to prime, get the fuel back there. Once it starts, you don't have power right away. It can take up to 30 seconds for the transfer switch to recognize where the power is coming from and energize the system. I've always know when it energizes because you'll hear the microwave beep and the display will come on. There you go. Now you can run your air conditioner, your microwave, whatever you want to do. Hit stop and it'll stop. There is an AGS function. So to enable the AGS, read the warnings there. Don't start it indoors. Make sure it's safe. Push and hold enable for 3 seconds and it will enable that. So now it's gone to our third screen, which is our power settings for enabling the AGS. So these are the parameters you can set for that AGS. You can set that to come on with a low voltage. So their voltage is set to come on at 12 volts. Anytime you're boondocking with this unit, I recommend you have that turned on. Your lithium-ion batteries are fabulous until the voltage is low. They do not give any physical warning. Once they go out, your touch screen is gone, you can't start the generator. If you have the auto generator start enabled, it will protect you from getting into that situation. So you can set it for voltage, and you can also set it for heating and air conditioning loads. So if you have it set for 22 degrees, the air conditioner on and this enabled, if it hits 24 degrees in here, it'll start the generator and run the air conditioner as required. Minimum time, half an hour. That's actually recommended as it's better for your batteries. You can set quiet times. So quiet time start is 10 p.m. Quiet time stop is set is 9 a.m. You can adjust that wherever you want. Start voltage 10, run time 10 minutes. Start time at start volts 20 seconds. Just different parameters you can set. So if you're starting it to charge the batteries, it'll run till the batteries are up to 14 volts before it shuts off. Go back to the home screen, lighting page. You can just control your individual lights. You can dim the lighting if you push and hold. Push and hold again, it'll go up. Porch light and awning light are here as well as the compartment light, which we missed outside for that back compartment. Thermostat, and then this is just a setting page for if you hit the cleaning mode, it'll lock the screen out so you can clean it. You can toggle between Celsius and Fahrenheit. Adjust your clock settings in here. You can also connect your mobile app. So you'll need to download this app to your phone, and then everything you can do on here, you can do off your cell phone. Gives you your PIN requirements as well there, right? So that's your ID number, and then the PIN number is there. Moving back, Jason, above the driver's door, we have a regulator for the solar panel. It just monitors the charge and prevents the solar panels from overcharging the batteries. I like to toggle. This is the screen. I like the 0.0A. If we were out in the sun right now, it would tell us how much charge we're actually getting from the batteries, from the sun at that point in time. Toggle next tells us the percentage of charge, and then how many amp hours are currently in the batteries, as well as the voltage. There is a USB charger on this as well if you want to charge your cell phone. The rest of the buttons, that's not functioning on this, as we have a Xantrax inverter, which is a better inverter. There is a max boost function, which just overrides the regulator and throws as much charge into the batteries as possible for 30 minutes. A is for getting into the settings and changing the settings on the system. If you put in flooded cell batteries, you'd have to change that setting. This is your inverter here. Turn it on, just push and hold. The display will come on. Inverter takes your battery power and inverts it up to the same power as your house, so the receptacles will work, the microwave will work. Just bear in mind that it's going to work for as, you know, the amount of time it's going to work depends on how much charge is in the batteries and what you're loading it with. If you're running the microwave, you'll probably kill the batteries in about 20 minutes. A lot of the larger loads, hair dryers, coffee makers, Keurigs, curling irons, microwave, I recommend running the generator and not doing it off the batteries, just to save your consumption. Now, this is the secondary control for the water heater. So once you've de-winterized it, you've turned that outside switch on, you can control the water heater from here. So it's got 5 settings. The center position where it's at now is off. When you're using this, always go clockwise. If you go always go counterclockwise. If you go clockwise, the first setting is an option I've never seen, and the third or second setting is a descale mode. Once it goes into descale, it locks it in. You've got to go through the cycle. Take about 40 minutes. If I turn it up 1 notch, we get what they call comfort mode. In comfort mode, it will maintain hot water at the faucets. So you'll hear the water heater kick in. It's got a circulation pump. Every half hour, 20 minutes, half hour, it'll kick in and circulate the hot water to the faucet, so it's there right away. If I go up to the second setting, it has an eco mode. Eco mode will only make hot water when there's a demand for it. So you've got to wait for the water to heat and get to the faucets. If you're boondocking, or any other time really, I recommend leaving it in eco through the day. If you plan on having a shower or washing dishes, at that point in time, 90 seconds before you want to do that, just put it in the comfort mode and leave it there till you're done, and you have the instant hot water. Just saves battery power and it saves propane. Battery heat enable. Lithium ion batteries do not like to be charged when they're cold. So anytime the ambient temperature outside is colder than 0 degrees Celsius, I want you to have this heater on just to protect those batteries. They're not cheap. They're probably $2,000 US a piece and there's a pair of them. You do want to protect them as much as you can. If they're used properly, they should last as long as the coach does. So I'm going to move over to the fridge next. Has a freezer door and a fridge door. Either will open from either direction. Kind of a unique feature with this particular model. But controlling it, this is the important stuff here. So if I push this button, it wakes up that display. If I want to shut it off or turn it on, I push and hold it. I just shut it off. To turn it back on, push and hold. It's going to go through its initialization, and there it is. So if I push and release it, you can see right now, whoop, we're going to adjust our temperature, push the button, and it saves it. If I push and hold it and then scroll down, turn it, we can get into the 3 different settings. So this fridge will operate on 3 different energy sources. It will run off the batteries, which I don't recommend you're doing unless you're traveling, because it will kill the batteries rapidly. Will operate off of shore power, and it will also cool with propane. Now, it also has a 4th setting, which is auto. I recommend that you just use it in auto. It'll select its own power source depending what's available. So if we started the generator or plugged it in, it would go to propane. If that power supply was interrupted, it would go from electricity to propane, sorry. But if we start the ignition to drive it, it will automatically go to battery and run off the batteries, or basically it's running off the alternator of the van. You'll notice though when you shut the van off that it will stay on battery for 15 minutes. It's assuming you've potentially stopped to refuel the van or refill the propane. So it gives you a 15-minute window to refuel it before it starts that flame outside. There are other options that you'll see on this display. They're not included with this particular model of fridge. Moving to the back, you have your shower on this side. Have your closet underneath the bed. I've got the bed elevated now. To put that down, we're just going to lift it all the way to the end, and down it'll come. So directly below the floor where I'm kneeling is where the onboard water storage tank is. It's above the main floor. There is a drain in this door side or driver's side closet. So just reach down, pull the Velcro strap. It's in the drain position now. So before you fill it with water in the spring, you'll want to fill that up or close that so that you can fill the tank. We're going to move into the bathroom and talk about, it has a macerator toilet. So if we push the button on the left-hand side of the panel, it will add water. Unfortunately, the unit's winterized, so I can't do that now. And then to flush it, I'll push this one and it will flush. The reason we have this toilet is that normally an RV black tank will be located below the floor, right below the toilet. Can't be done in this because of the axle. So it pumps it, chews it up and pumps it to a toilet. Your vanity mirror here will swing around for privacy. It's got a magnetic catch there. I do recommend that you lock it in this position when traveling. Light switch and water pump switch there. Your stove. Lighting your stove on this unit, if you come to the knob, we're going to turn it to the lightning bolt, and we're going to push and hold the knob in and hold, and there's an igniter button here. Hold it till it lights. Once the flame lights, hold it for another 5 seconds just to heat the thermocouple, or the stove will not stay lit. Once you're there, you can set your desired temperature. Please do not light the stove and then close the lid to use it as a ceramic cooktop. Usually has fairly devastating results. I have a Blu-ray player up here and an input selector if you add devices to watch on your entertainment system. Additional inputs can be added right there. It's pre-wired for satellite, ready to go. Smoke detector, 9-volt battery in that. When that battery gets low, it'll chirp. Down on the ground beside the fridge, there's a second detector. That's wired directly into the house batteries. That one detects propane or CO2. That's all I've got to say on this one. I will include a card with the envelope you're going to receive. It has my cell number on it. You can phone me anytime before 10:30 at night, Alberta time, for technical support. So I look forward to hearing from you, and any questions you have, I'm happy to get through it with you. Thank you.